This is a KOCO 5 First Alert Weather Severe Weather Update.
All right, it is 2:30 and a tornado warning has just been issued for this cell that is going to be down by Comanche south of Duncan and Velma. This is not only our first warning of the evening, our first tornado warning of the evening as well. It is going to be for this cell. You can see that inflow just right on the east side of Waurika. So the warning just came out just moments ago. This is going to change over to a tornado warning, and there it is right there. So tornado warning for Waurika, moving up to the northeast towards Velma, and as you make your way towards Ratliff City, Tatums, and down towards Clemscott here, moving pretty quickly up to the northeast. So at this current track, this will come into Velma at 2:58, Fox at 3:03, Tatums at 3:10. We go into Woodford here at 3:16, Hennepin 3:17, Katy at 3:20, and then Elmore City at 3:21. There is your inflow notch. I don't anticipate that these tornadoes that we see this morning are going to be all that long lasting, but it certainly will be there. So we're here to watch every single warning. Right now, this warning is set to expire in 30 minutes. And once again, this warning just went out just moments ago. And so here we are live on KOCO 5 early this morning, bringing you the latest information. Storm's moving pretty quickly up to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Means that the threat will not be overhead for long, but we're here to make sure that you have as much lead time as you can possibly have with this. And so once again, tornado warning just issued. This is not going to impact Oklahoma City. This is primarily going to stay down across southern Oklahoma, but anywhere from Pauls Valley down towards Sulphur and Davis. We're watching this one real closely for you early this morning, where your air overhead is still warm. A cold front has not made its way through. If you're watching in the metro, the front moved through a long time ago. We've had a lot of thunderstorms overhead, but those are not tornadic. Again, right now we do have a tornado warning. This is going to be for just northeast of Waurika, once again moving up to the northeast, and this will continue to make its way up towards the northeast fairly quickly, again at a speed of about 50 miles per hour. But looking downstream at this current path right now, anywhere from say Ratliff City, as you make your way up towards around Katy, you're going to be in the area of at least area of concern, especially as we go downstream. Let's check in with Nick Smith. Nick, you're the closest on the storm. Our first tornado warning of the evening or the morning. I know it is dark, but Nick, how's the sky look in front of you?
Yeah, Damon, we are just now dropping to the south out of Foster. We're going to try to catch up with the storm once it gets to Ratliff City. So, man, we've definitely seen just if we're behind it, back to the south.
Okay, Nick, you're kind of coming. You're kind of coming in and out. I understand that you're kind of in some rural part of Oklahoma there, so I totally understand. We'll check back in with you in just a moment. We do have a north wind up until around Pauls Valley. So if the storm keeps moving up to the northeast and makes its way up towards Pauls Valley, it's going to encounter at least winds that are not as favorable for this threat to last all that long. So we're going to watch it really, really closely. But up until at least it makes its way towards I-35, and especially down by Wynnewood, Sulphur, and Davis, where you still have a southerly wind for just a little while longer, your risk is still going to be there. So this is a tornado warning just issued just moments ago. It started out as a severe thunderstorm warning and then quickly was triggered into a tornado warning. Right now, as far as the other hazards associated with this, 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail with this cell. Jonathan here running the radar, looking at our rotation tracker. You can see a couple areas, Jonathan, of at least rotation. This velocity really kind of helps at least pick up that rotation quite clearly. But yeah, Jonathan, first tornado warning of the morning. What are you seeing from the radar desk?
It looks pretty significant, Damon. It's a specific storm. There's a strong updraft. Besides the tornado risk, there's going to be probably hail up to about golf ball size, and that area rotation is going to just be about 1, 2, 3, 4 miles northeast of Waurika. So Waurika, I think you're very close to the circulation. On the backside of it, you could have some very strong damaging winds associated with the downdraft of the storm, but the area rotation again between I think it's about 2 miles east of 81 between Waurika and Addington, but this is going to be moving very quickly. It's moving. The problem with these storms is that they're moving about 45, 50 miles an hour. Now, this storm, I think, Damon, is either right ahead of the cold front or it's latched on the cold front. And what does that mean? As long as these storms are on that boundary or ahead of that boundary, they have a chance of producing a tornado. And this is what I was talking about real early, what would that have been, Wednesday morning, the area between about I-44 and I-35 at this time would have the ingredients, as long as they stayed ahead of that boundary, that they could produce a tornado risk. And again, this is going to be moving towards Loco, Alma, Velma, Katy, and eventually crossing I-35. As the morning progresses and the storm gets a little bit taller, which the updraft is getting a little bit taller, it'll get caught up in the jet stream winds and move a lot faster. So I would anticipate if this storm stays mature, that potentially storm speeds would increase, and that would give people a little bit less lead time. Obviously, we're here on air bringing in the first alert, but definitely a well-defined storm, well-defined updraft, and a pretty decent couplet. On a scale like 1 to 5, what I've seen for these kind of storms, it's not pegged out of 5. It's maybe around a 3.5 to a 4.
Yeah, and I think you make a really good a point there, especially with the distance that we are. But just looking ahead of this, especially just east of Waurika, where the winds are still out of the southeast, and we're looking in towards around Ardmore, and as you go up towards around Pauls Valley, Sulphur, you still have a southeasterly wind. Now, as you go just north, up towards around Washington and Byers, the winds have just shifted to the south. That wind direction, excuse me, is going to be so important. So if we can shift the winds right here from the south to the north, that will help to lower the risk. But as of right now, we play with the cards that we have in front of us, and so we still have a southeasterly wind right here. So at least the environment will remain favorable for this storm to at least produce intermittent circulations along the line here as it approaches I-35. Once again, a tornado warning for this is going to be down in Jefferson County, down in southern Oklahoma. Let's check in with Michael Armstrong. Michael, other storms out there. Give us an update, Michael, with what you're seeing.
Well, yeah, this whole area, Damon, that we've been talking about it, and, anytime you hear us say the warm sector, what that means is that you have a south wind, and that means, temperatures are still in the 60s at Pauls Valley. And I know that seems crazy now that we've got, sleet and snow in the northwestern part of the state. Temperatures are in the 20s and low 30s, but it's still like springtime down here in southern Oklahoma. So a completely different scenario the further south that you move. And any of these strong storms where you see the lightning from Bray down to near just to the east of Comanche, anywhere that's getting that inflow, that wind that's coming out of the southeast, especially when we get what we call backing winds. In other words, the wind starts to come around from the south to the southeast or the east. That is a very favorable wind to pull in warm, moist air right into the storm and cause it to spin down near the ground potentially. So you have this one tornado warning. I would say areas up near Loco, Fox, Tatum's, and eventually on up toward Davis and Wynnewood. If this thing holds together, Hennepin on up toward Wynnewood, Joy Davis, perhaps even Pauls Valley, really need to pay close attention to what's happening here with this storm. You can still see a lot of heavy rain coming in on my 360 camera here as we're making our way through Maysville down toward Pauls Valley. Damon, we're putting ourselves out in a position to be able to track this storm as it approaches I-35. I know Nick is down also there near Purnell, closer to the storm, but that is a very poor cell area, so I know we'll be checking in with him as we can, but we're going to be over along closer to I-35, so I'm hoping that our signal will stay a little bit better. You guys can be able to be checking in with us anytime you want to. But this whole line of storms will have to be monitored. We just have the one tornado warning right now, but any of these storms could develop a circulation out here in the warm sector.
Yeah, and right now temperatures in Waurika are in the 40s, but you go just about 5 miles east of Waurika and your temperatures are in the 60s, and that's what we're seeing. You can see all of these inflection points right along the leading edge of this line as it continues to move to the east. If this were to move north, it would move into a colder environment, and that would pretty much keep the risk for tornadoes rather low. But because this is moving to the east in the air, this is your warm sector, your unstable sector as well. This threat's going to continue. So what we're hoping we can see from Elmore City to Pauls Valley over the next few minutes is hopefully a north wind. But as of right now, the air mass is still quite mild, and the winds are still out of the southeast from Pauls Valley down towards Turner Falls, Sulphur, and Davis. That at least this risk is going to continue. These storms are moving very quickly right now at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So the risk is going to move in quickly. It's also going to exit quickly as well. But that's why we're here early this morning, to make sure that you are not caught off guard. But as of right now, this tornado warning continues up until 3 a.m. and all the counties here, all the cities here need to be at least prepared to go into your tornado shelter. Ratliff City, that threat comes in for you at 3:05. You have 25 minutes from now, Ratliff City, before this area of circulation will be right overhead. Let's check in with Nick Smith right now. Nick Smith, give us an update on what you're seeing.
Damon, we are actually approaching the Ratliff City area, so we are currently just to the north of it. We're coming in from the north, and we are going to actually go back to the east, and we'll sit close to Tatum's and as this storm comes in. I am watching back off to the southwest. We are seeing frequent lightning, and I can't make out any structure or base of the storm. Still a little bit too far away, but we are definitely, when we went between Foster and Purnell, that's where we went from 40 degrees, and now we're up to 60 or 61 degrees now, Damon. So we have been in the 30s, and just like that, we're back on the other side of it. So it might be splitting hairs, but you definitely, if you're on the north side, you're going to feel a lot better about the storm. If you're just to the north of that cold front. Back to you.
Yeah, that changeover there, Nick, from where you're in the cold air to when you get into that warm air, it's pretty intense. And a lot of times when you drive through these type of separate air masses, you'll know the second you hit the warm air, because all of a sudden your windshield will just fog up just like that. So right now, that area of circulation, kind of give you an understanding as to where we are. Here's Loco. So here's Velma. And then Waurika is going to be down here. So right now we're over some rural parts of the county, but this is still someone's land. And so this is all moving up to the northeast. So here's Alma, Ratliff City, Pruitt City, Fox, Tatum's. I know technically you were not in any warning yet right now, but if the warning is extended with a storm moving at 50 miles per hour, these storms will be moving in here pretty quickly. So Katy, Elmore City, down towards Hennepin. Look, we're going to stay on here until this threat is over and the warning is no longer in effect. But as of right now, this warning continues for another 19 minutes.
They dropped the tornado warning.
Okay, David. So they just dropped the tornado. Jonathan, what are they? Can you read at least what they're saying over there?
Well, yeah. So this is radar indicated, and the circulation has decreased, and so the National Weather Service felt confident at this time to drop the tornado warning. You saw the update on our live radar there. That little blue circle is where I have the circulation. When it comes to the storm, I think, obviously this probably isn't a full-blown supercell. This is going to be one of those hybrid tornado situations where you can see, that's a big line. We're going to have these little eddies. You got to find where the little hiccup is, where we have a little kink in velocity, and where there could be a quick spin up, or the technical term quasi-linear convective system, QLCS tornado. But those can still even though they're short-lived, they can be significant. But the National Weather Service, they said, hey, we're going to drop the warning. We're going to leave the severe thunderstorm warning. But Damon, I think what we'll probably see this morning is the tempo. So these are going to be short fused. If we have another tornado warning, they're going to be short fused. Real quick, boom, tornado warning. We'll be tracking it for like 10 minutes. Okay, the circulation is gone. How many times have we done that with the nocturnal line of storms? And we see, that's kind of the setup we're going for tonight. So this probably won't be our last one.
No, it probably won't. And probably just looking downstream, especially in southern Oklahoma, this is going to be something to watch. So, okay, so the warning has been dropped. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for quarter-size hail, 60 miles per hour. We'll watch it closely. Keep it with KOCO 5 News. We'll bring you the first alert.